What up, guys? It's Brian here with Portable Generator Services, Florida's perfectly rated 5-star business with over 120 reviews. I'm making a video for the food truck family to touch on some other videos that I've made for food truck owners. Very important. I don't know why I've never even made this or mentioned it, but as I've seen more and more people discuss it and talk about their issues, I think it's definitely time that we let every food truck owner know, especially the new ones that are wanting to purchase a generator, so that they don't make the same mistake that like everyone else does. Okay. Number one. Well, just to preface what this is about what kind of, not the brand, but do you get a liquid cooled, an air cooled, an inverter? What do you get? And it's very important. So, in order to answer this correctly, we need to know what size you need, because once you get past a certain size, you cannot get certain generators. And so let me explain. If you talk to a lot of experienced food truck owners, they're going to say that they're going to either have an inverter generator, or the reason why they don't is because they're not big. They need more power, and inverter generators are only made right now up to like 9,000 watts or 9,500 watts starting watts. So running watts, it drops it, I think, down to like 85 or even 8,000, maybe even a little under. I think might be even 7,500 running watts. I'll have to double check that. So there's Predator with a 9,000, and then Duramax has a 9,500 watt starting inverter style generator. Honda's got them. Everyone else got them, but they're not that big. They have like a 7,000 starting, and then obviously it's derated from starting wattage to running wattage. Reason why you absolutely, if you are not needing more than, the 7,000 watts, want an inverter, is because of the noise, how quiet they are. I've seen tons of people complaining about how, it's so loud. Customers have left lines and gone to a quieter food truck because of the loudness. They are loud as hell. I had a customer actually who was posting and had tagged me. He goes, dude, I like, Duramax has been real reliable. I like it. It is so loud. And he's right. They are all so loud. You literally, and so this is the secret. And if you guys watch this, you're going to learn a lot, and it's going to save you a lot of money down the road. So check it out. Number one, when you're building your food truck, you absolutely have to try and stay away from electrical heating devices. If you can choose a propane modeled heating device, you're going to save yourself a lot of wattage. If you don't, if you go all electric heating, water heater, an electrical stove, electrical oven, electrical warming lamps, you're gonna need so much wattage. It's gonna, honestly, it's not feasible. You have to go propane. The smart people try and get as many propane appliances as possible, because that saves on the size generator they need. They don't need to get a big generator when you've got propane, because all you need is the igniter. The electrical part is just an igniter that clicks and creates the spark for the propane to ignite. No wattage at all, like 5 watts for one of those stupid things for an igniter. So you really do need to keep in mind that when you are building your food truck and you're looking at appliances and whatever you need, to be trying to find propane appliances. If you can go propane rather than electric, you gotta do it. You're gonna thank yourself later. Okay? Now, like I was saying, touching back on the inverter. Inverters, let's just say you're gonna hit 50 to 60, give or take, decibels for noise. Non-inverters, you're in the 70s to, you're in like the 75 range, 80 range, depending on, you know, distance from it. They all have certain things. Obviously, if you're measuring from 3 feet away and you're checking your decibel reading, it's going to be louder than if you're 6 feet away. But they're loud. A regular open frame generator, which is what every single portable generator is, besides the inverters, are super loud. Like, you literally, and it just doesn't make sense, because ultimately, like, to have it as quiet as a inverter, you would have to take your generator off of your food truck and move it out into the middle of the field or wherever, which it just doesn't work. You know, that doesn't work. So ultimately, if you can compromise on your build and get propane appliances, whether that's a propane oven, a propane grill, propane, you know, even like they've got propane refrigerators and stuff in RVs, like they go propane, you know, they, you gotta keep that in mind, because if not, you're gonna be like some of the people here where they need a 17,000 watt generator to power their stuff. They need more than that. You know, some of the old timers do need a lot because of how, you know, they just got a lot more stuff. They've perfected so many things that they've built and made their food truck just have so many options for their customers that you do start getting up there in wattage. But for a beginner, you really want to, number one, not have to buy 2 generators or regret buying the first one because you didn't research a little bit. If you're under 9,000 or 8,000 watts, and think about this. When you're doing your load calculation, when you're going and I tell you, you know, go to every single thing and find out what your wattage is. So go to everything in your food truck that you plug into the outlet and your generator ultimately is going to be powering. Make your list. Now, make a second list, a second row, and I want you to take everything that is going to be running the whole time you're there. What does not turn off when you're there? And if I'm not talking about, I'm talking about like, you know, lights and stuff, whatever. Your fans, you're probably going to have your fans going the whole time to keep air circulating, keep you guys cool. If you have an AC, you're going to have that going. If you've got a warming station, you're probably going to have the warming thing going the whole time to keep your stuff warm, right? What aren't you using the whole time? Maybe a blender, depending on what you are cooking, what you make. There's going to be random recipes that only call for, you know, a blender. And it's not like it's not like you're making smoothies and you're blending the whole time. If you have a blender for only a couple of things, put that, you know, that you're not using all the time. And now check your wattage. Because ultimately, if you do a load calc and you add up your whole wattage, but if you only add up the stuff you're using at all times and it's so low, but then your whole list of things that, you know, you're not turning on all the time, it's just every so often, it adds up to a lot. You don't need to get a generator rated at that wattage. You can meet halfway in the middle, because think about it, you're not having all of that wattage on at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, now if you're super busy and it might get to that, fine. But ultimately, a lot of the times, you know, like if you had a electric water heater, that's not, especially the on-demand ones, those aren't running at all times. And those are a decent bit of wattage. So like, you don't have to really, I would add like half of that wattage. You know, I don't know about your oven and whatnot, but see, that's where it comes down to trying to go propane as much as possible. If you look up so the biggest consumers of electricity are heating elements, heating devices, because it's I'm not going to go into the electrical theory of it, but heating elements, anything that produces heat, whether it's, you know, ovens. Now, unless it's propane, if it's electrical, yes, heating elements are horrible energy hogs. And then motors, as in an AC compressor, will hit your generator fairly hard for just a split second, though. But you have to take that into consideration. That is why you have a starting wattage and a running wattage. The starting is there to help with the motors when they first try. So a motor, the reason why a motor has such it's an inrush current rating, basically. And what that is it's kind of like this analogy. When you are, let's say it's the weekend, it's a Saturday, and you have off, and you're sitting with your family, you're sitting with whoever, and you're binge watching TV for like 5 hours straight. You eat a bunch of shitty food that's really good food, but it's bad for you. And after 5 hours, it's finally time to get up. The hardest part is first just getting up out of that chair. It's like, ugh. But once you're standing, you're moving, and it's just easy, right? It's getting up, and that's the same as an engine. When an engine is sitting still, it's that first bit of power that it takes to get it to start moving. It's just like, once it starts moving, then you're good. And so that's the inrush current, and that is the starting wattage.